Look, I know one of the biggest bonuses of a podcast is being able to skip through things you don't want to hear about, but I would encourage you just to sit tight for just a second, because as the war in Ukraine enters month 3, it's hard to believe it's been that long, and you watch all the stories of families being displaced and lives being shattered, and you think, man, that's really sad. I wish there was something I could do about it. Here's the cool thing. You and me and all the potties could get together and actually maybe make a difference by helping families in Ukraine who have been displaced by all this violence. There's nearly 11 million people that have been forced out of their homes. And imagine that. You can't take everything with you. You've got to just pick and choose the few things you can carry as you try to get your family to safety. They say desperate times calls for desperate measures. Well, these are desperate times. That's why the Wally Show is partnering with Food for the Poor and 3,500 pastors in Ukraine and surrounding countries to help feed these people. And here's what's really cool. You can provide a meal for 25 cents, a quarter what we plug into a gumball machine. You could actually feed a child a meal. So now do some math with me. Your gift of $1 would actually feed a family of 4. Your gift of $10 sends 40 meals. Your gift of $25 will feed 100 people who desperately need it. So while this is a really sad story on the world stage, it is really cool to see the difference that a few motivated potties could make. So text the word Wally to 91999. That's Wally, W-A-L-L-Y, to 91999, and we'll send you a link to make a difference today. Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. Maybe a little bit of a faster cast. Betty Rock, a little bit under the allergy weather. Now, normally you're not supposed to tell a woman, like, you look rough, so I'm not going to tell you that, but I'm trying to bond with you here to tell you I can see that you don't feel good. Here's what it is. The sparkle that is normally in your Betty Rock eyes is dimmer today, and I think it's because you have congestion.
It's probably covered by snot.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's diffusing your sparkle for sure. So we'll get through a little bit of this quickly. Get her home. I went on a trip over the weekend. I went to see my nephew, my 2 nephews and niece. They're triplets. Graduate. And what a great moment. It was so cool because they should not even be here. They were born at 25 weeks and massive health issues in the hospital for months. And many times the doctors were like, well, we don't know if they're going to make it. Or, it almost was like they took turns. Like this week, this one was in trouble. And the next week, this one was in trouble. It was really heartbreaking. And so to see them graduate was pretty cool and a great weekend. But I had Betty Rock. I said, hey, can you give me some suggestions of podcasts to listen to? It's a 4-hour drive. And one of the podcasts I listened to, I must have just hit a bad episode. Like the lady was just talking about, I don't even know what she was talking about, so I didn't even get through all of it. So I went back to Crime Junkies, which you got me on to. And there's Ashley, who's the host, and Britt, who is unnecessary, where she just repeats everything that Ashley says. And says like dumb things. So the glass was broken after she just said, well, the glass is broken. So wait a minute. Let me clarify. What you're saying is the glass is broken? But then I think there was something in my mind because they did one of the episodes I was listening to. They're like, hey, we have new episodes coming out. Britt's been out for a while. Didn't she have like a health scare? Like Britt, like,
if she did, I didn't know about it.
Oh, really? I thought you had told me, because then I felt bad about all the horrible things I was thinking about her, because I thought she had like a cancer scare or something.
What's wrong with you?
Well, I know, but then I'm like, well, I want to be equal. Like, I don't want to just not have the opinion I have about somebody just because something bad has happened to them. That's
right. You don't want to have a heart.
Well, no, that's hypocritical. If you're like, okay, I do not like you. I do not like you at all. I cannot stand anything about this girl on this show. She's probably a lovely lady. But then you say that, and then someone goes, "Oh, she has cancer," and then you go, "Oh, man, I feel you know what? She's not that bad." You're a hypocrite because the fact of the matter, she had something bad happen to her. That's not good, and you don't wish that on anybody. But it doesn't change the fact that she's extraneous to that show. Like, I don't know why Ashley keeps her there. I really don't.
They're best friends.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They grew up together.
As your best friend, I would be like, I need more from you to do this show other than just repeating me.
Well, she's a mom of multiple kids, I believe, and so I'm sure that plays a part in it.
Did you look up if she had a health scare? I thought I saw you Googling.
I wasn't, but I will.
I'd like to know.
Do you care?
Yeah, you care about them.
Britt. Oh gosh.
What?
So
Was it bad?
I'm putting in Google. I'm putting in crime junkie Brit, and one of the first things that pops up is crime junkie Brit annoying.
Oh. See, I'm not the only one. And Rock, if you're honest, you know I'm right. Like she's not necessary in that show at all. Like she never offers any bit of insight or wisdom. Like why are you here, Rock? Why are you on this show? Because I'll fill that in since your brain is tired.
Ahead.
You're there to be the other half of me. Like your job is to do and feel and say the things that I haven't done, felt, or said. Your job is balance. Your job is a different opinion. Your job is being, is contributing to this show, which you do spectacularly.
Thank you.
If you were Brit, you would not still be here. Like, there's no way. Like, I would have been like, oh, well, you're going to still be on the show. We're friends. Although I kept Ryan the Temp for a long time.
Yeah, you did.
You know what? I get it now. I get why Ashley keeps her. Ryan the Temp was my blind spot.
Oh my goodness. He was your blind spot.
He was an intern we had that drove everybody nuts. But I loved the kid, and I kept him. And I know he didn't do much, but he was funny, and so I kept him around.
So I'm reading up on Brit.
Yeah.
And it says that she had a rapid brain bleed last week, which resulted in a clot in her brain.
Oh, that's bad.
She's had 3 brain surgeries in the last week.
Okay, now she didn't have brain surgeries before, because that would explain some things.
Oh, no. That's terrible.
I'm sorry. So this is all new. Well, no, I was looking for an excuse. Maybe she's not good at her job because she had other, brain stuff happening. And so then you go, oh, I get it now. And
So you're trying to justify your actions and it's not working.
Okay. So that's not fun. The fact that she had a brain bleed, that's not good at all.
Yes.
Well, we wish her a speedy recovery.
Do we?
You guys do, yes.
I don't have a problem. Oh, you said do we? Yes,
No,
Rock, we do.
No, I'm all for it, but you're the one that's bad-mouthing her.
But that's the thing, though.
She's a mom.
That's
She's
great.
a friend.
No.
She's probably a sister.
And she's probably a wonderful person. Maybe.
So what you're saying is she's a wonderful person.
Yeah, I have no problem with her as a person. Yeah, I mean, that's great. You do you, boo. And I don't want her to be...
Except if it annoys me.
Right. Well, I don't want her to be hurt or ill or anything. I don't wish that on anybody. But I was just curious when I heard them say, she'd been out. And I thought I had remembered you telling me something, but I guess I remembered that wrong.
No, I didn't know anything about it.
Okay, well, hopefully she gets that worked out. Or, maybe take some time off. Take some time off.
Anyways.
Okay. Anywho.
I mean, she will probably have to take time off.
Yeah.
That is a big injury.
Yeah, that is bad. Okay, so, all right, let's move through some stuff here. The U.S. price of gasoline has jumped another 33 cents.
It is bad.
Why is this? It just keeps going up. It always goes up in the summer anyway, and now it's just getting worse. $4.71 a gallon. It's $1.61 higher than it was a year ago. If you live in San Francisco, you're paying $6.20 a gallon for gas.
How does anyone afford that? How do they expect anyone to afford that?
I do not understand that.
I know we were talking about to Pastor Chad, and he was talking about, he's got 5 kids, and he was talking about bicycling.
He's like, I'm going to bicycle to work. And we're like, dude, you sweat a lot. Don't.
Yeah, please don't.
You know what? We'll chip in for gas. We'll start a fund. I mean, I really do. For a lot of people, the gas price going up is an inconvenience and you're paying a little bit extra and you're frustrated by it. But for some people, it's devastating. They're trying to get to work to take care of their families and they're already just making it. So the fact that this has been able to continue this long, that we haven't altered this, is crazy. I mean, you got baby formula for people. Let's get the gas thing fixed.
Fly that in from Europe.
Yeah.
Isn't this tied in with the Russian and the Ukraine war?
Yes.
I am a little confused by that as well.
Right. Because, and initially, anytime something happens inside of the oil industry, you'll have a storm in the Gulf of Mexico, and all of a sudden it's gas prices everywhere are going up. They use anything and everything as an excuse. And so all of a sudden, when Russia invaded and we boycotted them, and stop taking their oil, they're they're responsible for 3% of our oil needs. And so there's a debate going, well, why didn't you open the Keystone Pipeline that you shut down to the White House? And so you could offset that amply. But then that's not happening. But then Biden did let companies, he opened up land that was formerly not allowed to be drilled on. He opened that up to start drilling again, but then there's a lag time in that.
Yeah.
And so I'm always curious about oil reserves. Why aren't we tapping into that, like to offset this temporarily to give people some relief? Or we put up with it. Like that's the other thing. I think, who was it? Zach used to say, you get the leaders you tolerate, the ones that you'll put up with, and in democracy, that's very true, and then we have the ability to remove people and things like that. It works, and this is the same thing too. You get the kind of leader you'll put up with. And right. I think that, we're sitting here just putting up with this, and okay, well, it's just a thing. We'll get relief sometime soon, but maybe not for some people,
Yeah, I was getting gas the other day, and usually, I don't know why, but I always try and get it to a even number.
Oh, I do that too.
Or like try and get it to like a solid.
It has to stop. Yes,
like at the 00 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it because I was thinking to myself, I think it's because every little drop is so much. So it goes way too fast when I'm trying to pull the.
And then when your OCD kicks in and you go like 1 cent over, and then you've got to loop all the way back around there's another $4, that's a dangerous game to play. Boy, this was a really interesting story with corporate America being quiet for the most part about the Roe versus Wade leaked file from the Supreme Court. A lot of companies are trying to stay out of this one, but there were a few companies that jumped all in. Amazon and Starbucks announced that they are expanding health benefits to pay travel fees incurred by workers who are seeking an abortion if the procedure is not available near where they live. Employees in states like Oklahoma and South Dakota face the prospect of stronger abortion restrictions, and then other places like that. I am so glad that companies are fighting so hard for the rights of a mom to have a low-cost abortion. That they're more concerned about that than the fact of a mom choosing to end the life of a child. Like that is, I was being sarcastic. I just cannot fathom how you as a company, this is your big stance. Your big stance is we are going to line up and we're going to talk about pro-choice, and we're going to make this is our statement. This is our platform so that you cannot have your rights infringed upon to end the life of a child. And that's what our companies are saying today. I cannot fathom that in this day and age. I can't fathom why women don't. For me, I can't understand it as a guy, because women always talk about that bond that they have, and I know there are extenuating circumstances with different things. Absolutely, and I get all of that. But I am so surprised that there are so many women that are pro-choice when it comes to abortion. I'm just shocked, honestly. As a woman, Rock, I would think you would understand this better than me even. And like, how can so many women go, yeah, this is my body, my choice. This is a good thing. I don't understand that.
I read something or heard something that said like it's usually the people that are in the African American communities or just indigenous communities, that those are the ones that they end up with multiple kids and they can't pay for them. Right. And so I guess they don't have, they live in low economic areas and stuff. And so they feel like they're not getting as much of they're not getting as good of health coverage as maybe people that are Caucasian or richer or whatever. Mm. And so I think some women are for abortion because they feel like it's not equal for all women to get the right health care.
Oh my gosh. I mean, but as a means of birth control, that is just it's just ludicrous to me. I mean, and yeah. I know it's not popular with some people. I would think of the vast majority of people that listen to our podcast are probably at least like agree with this, or at least can see how I would come at this from like a faith perspective. Like I don't think that it's this crazy outlandish take here, but you take this perspective into the world and you've got a fight on your hands, you know, with Whoopi Goldberg and other people like that. But I always like how memes tend to really drill right down to a point of something because it's a quick snapshot of something. And I saw this one that I thought was fascinating. It was like a picture of a turtle and then a fetus, and it said, "We care more about protecting the reproductive rights of a loggerhead turtle than we do about the life of an unborn child." Because when, like in Florida, you can't touch turtle eggs. You can't even come near them. You have to turn your lights off because we got to protect these turtles. Save the turtles. Yet at the same time, we're like sitting here arguing over the Supreme Court, and you got companies that are like, yes, let's do more abortions and make sure you have your right to choose. It's just, I'm sorry to be on a soapbox rant here, but boy, howdy. Like when you see a meme like that, though, too, it really does drill down the point, because people don't want to, and I'm not like this giant get on the, picket line for abortion rights, but the older I'm getting, the more I see, the more I'm just shocked by the argument that this thing doesn't matter. Like, that's the thing I cannot fathom.
I agree with you, and maybe it's my 9-ness coming out, but another part of me wonders if the reason that they're for abortion is because they see it as loving, meaning that why would you want to put a child into a low economic world where they don't get as much attention, or maybe they're born into a drug, drugged mom.
But at that point, you could extrapolate that out to, you've already got 5 kids living in this thing. Why don't you just pick one of them and knock it off? Like it's the same thing. I already have a child. It's already in a drug environment. It's already in a broken world. Why don't we go ahead and just take it out, too? Like, I mean, you can make that same argument. And I got on a little rant there, and I wasn't intending to. But I think the more I see it in this day and age, the more frustrating it makes me.
I will say that the point of view of somebody, there's our opinion that we have, and the people who are on the other side of that opinion. When we go into an argument, I think a lot of times those people see us making these arguments for pro-life, right? Yeah, pro-life, and they're saying like, oh, like you're gonna argue this whole situation, and then you win, and then what do? You just like say, yay, we won, and then move on with your life. Whereas they want to, if they're gonna see us argue this side of the equation, then we need to also be doing the work to help people who do need the help.
Well, absolutely.
When they do have when they do have the kid, it's like helping at pregnancy centers and helping in low income situations.
If you limit this because you say it's important, then yeah, you should provide resources to help. And adoption should be much easier. All of that kind of stuff.
That would be great.
That would be fantastic. And so like I definitely agree with that. But I almost think that because it gets A, politicized, and B, it turns into a religious discussion. That's what abortion always turns into, is a religion. Well, you are a religious right-wing person trying to control me. And I think you could take religion out of this debate. 100% I think you could. Mm-hmm. And because what you're talking about is the legality of, is it right to terminate the life of something that is living, that is more than a plant? Like, is that right? And I have no problem even separating out religion, because religion muddies it. But to me, when you look at something that is beating with a heartbeat, that is alive. If you took a puppy and you took a baby puppy and it was beating and it was this little thing and you just decided to kick it or throw it off a bridge, people would lose their minds. Yet we don't give the unborn child the same treatment as a puppy. It's lunacy, man.
What if the mom is in danger of losing her own life?
I understand that.
What if it's a product of rape?
I understand that. And that's where I don't think that one size fits all with any of this. I think that you have to have caveats, and you have to have a place where you look at the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. And that's what judges and that's what people are supposed to be able to do, is to look at something and go, yes, this is an extenuating circumstance. Because I've had friends that they had a child that didn't survive and they had to do a D&C. And, I've had other friends that the child wasn't going to survive and they had to do that, And so, like, I get it. I get the mess of all of that. But those numbers are also statistically much smaller than people want to inflate and make you think that that's what this issue is about, because that's not the issue for the vast majority of these cases. So anyway, what do you got, Rock? Sorry about that.
The Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie, it's set to hit Disney Plus.
What a great
it's already. I know. Well, you always put me there.
That's my fault.
It's coming to Disney Plus, or it's already at Disney Plus. But in it, there is a villain, and he's a grown-up version of Peter Pan.
Really?
And a lot of people are thinking this character is disrespectful, and that's because Peter Pan in the movie, he's evil because he's mad that the studio kicked him out because he grew up.
It's an interesting thing because I know a couple other characters in this, so it looks like they're crossing genres, kind of like Marvel does, and bringing different characters in. I don't know what Chip and Dale are supposed to be rescuing, and so they've got an angry, disgruntled Peter Pan, which is kind of funny because he's the lost boy that never grew up.
Right, but people are saying this is disrespectful because Bobby Driscoll, who was the voice of Peter Pan back in the 1953 animated version, he actually, rumors are that he was let go from Disney and that he actually, because of that, it ended him losing his life at 31 due to drugs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. So so people are saying
it's too close to
it's
home.
too close to the real story of Peter Pan.
So you shouldn't have done that. You should have picked a different character or given him a different reason for being angry.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd never heard that story. Like I saw Finding Neverland, which was the story, I guess, of the guy that wrote Peter Pan. And so, you're talking about the voice. Okay, I saw the story of the guy that wrote it. Originally, I was combining.
It was a Johnny Depp movie, wasn't it?
No. Finding Neverland is a Broadway play.
I think.
I think you're right, Gavin. I think they did an adaptation.
Oh, did they?
With Johnny Depp.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've never seen that. The play is great. Like the Broadway musical is fantastic.
But this is just the
voice.
Bobby who did the voice of Peter Pan back in 53.
I'm curious who is upset. Like if it's his relatives, because most people probably don't know and wouldn't think twice about it. And it's kind of a natural storyline. You got an angry Peter Pan. That's kind of funny. But like if his people, like his family was upset, then you go, okay, I get that. But just some rando that's like, hey, I'm upset. Okay, nice. Thanks for your tweet.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'll make any changes. I mean, it's already released. So,
let's do some birthdays.
Okay.
How about that? You got one?
I do. I have a couple.
Oh,
Looks
good.
like you have one.
I have a follow-up, actually. So not really a birthday, but a follow-up from Guillermo.
Of course.
Because we had played the song Las Mañanitas, and you had asked what it was.
Yeah.
And there was he sent the translation, the whole translation.
Oh, wow.
So that's good. But then I made a mistake and I printed out page 1. So I have it in Spanish, which doesn't help us at all. And then it's translation. This is the morning song that King David sang. Okay. The other part's on the printer, I think. So we'll have to enjoy that a little bit later. But this was it. This is the morning King David sang. And that's all we're gonna get. Yeah, that's it. So,
that was great.
Yeah. A family tradition. What do you got, Rock?
So Joel wants to wish Lynn a happy birthday, saying she never misses a Wordle, and she has a killer deep fried mango recipe.
No.
That's a weird deep fried option.
Yeah. I've had deep fried, what is it, eggplant?
That sounds even worse.
Buca de
really not that
Beppo.
bad.
It actually surprisingly was all right.
Really?
Or maybe it was zucchini. I don't know.
I think you've done zucchini.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I was surprised.
Jeremy wants to wish his lovely wife, Heather, a happy birthday, saying she's an exemplary human being and the mother of 2 wonderful young men. Happy birthday. Also, Nate wants to wish Heather. I'm not sure if that's the same Heather, but anyways, happy birthday to Heather.
They might have some conversations to have.
William to Mom might be the same Heather. We're not sure. And then Caleb to his amazing mom. These all might be to Heather. We're not sure.
So. Well, that's pretty great. Heather seems like amazing. Exemplary, I might say.
Yes. We have 2 would you rather questions.
Okay.
Would you rather be the richest person in the world or the smartest?
Oh, richest. Easy.
I would too. Yeah.
But you could lose your money from being stupid.
No, because you could be so smart like Einstein, and where did it get him? Did he ever have a vet? No. So you could be dumb like Channing Tatum and be wealthy. I know. He just strikes me. He was good in that last movie, but he played a dumb guy in that last movie. I'm curious what he's like really. Like, is he like actually kind of smart or not? But he kind of plays the meathead thing a little bit.
He's probably really brilliant. I also feel like if you're the richest person in the world, you could just hire
Yeah,
the
hire smart
smartest
people.
person in the world to
how
run
will
your.
how will you know which one is the best one? Because you're stupid.
Yeah,
But
you
it's
know
not
what?
saying you're stupid. It's just saying that you're rich.
Yeah.
And I'll take that.
I'd take that any day because you can buy brains.
I feel like Bezos
From
is
other people.
probably the smartest. Is probably very smart.
Look
and
at
he's the richest.
Look at every president. They come in. You don't know how to run the country. You don't know where the light switch is in the White House. Somebody has to tell you. Surround yourself with smart people.
Amen.
That's what you do.
You need a staff.
Yeah,
I've got one more.
I'm going to do that someday.
Would you rather be able to detect any lie you hear or get away with any lie you tell?
Oh, get away.
Get away.
No, I want to know. I want to know if people are lying because I always think people are lying to me. Always. It's so hard to live in this head, and I have to be vigilant about that. Like, I go into so many social situations thinking, okay, this person is trying to hose me, or they're like I'm like sales type things and stuff like that, and it's so bad versus going in like with a healthier attitude of, oh, maybe this salesperson isn't trying to take advantage of me, but then I don't want to get taken advantage of, so I'd like to know the lying. What about you, Rock?
Gosh, it's tough because there have been situations where I would like to tell a little white lie and get away with it, but I know I won't be able to. But if I knew I could, but then I would be living with a guilty conscience.
This like with your friend in internet dating. If you could tell a lie, like that would make internet dating so much easier.
I mean, that's what people do anyway.
Like, but then you would know. Like, you're like, oh yeah.
That's true.
Every time you see 6 feet tall, you're like, he's not.
5'8".
But then if I knew people were lying to me, it might hurt my feelings, and then I'd be sad.
I think ignorance might be bliss in that situation.
Yeah.
You obviously, like this makes sense for you.
Yeah,
but
I need it.
I think I'm okay. I don't feel hurt by people these days.
Okay, here we go. Let's have this conversation. This will get serious for a second.
Oh no. Let's
say that you're married and there's a case of infidelity. I don't know why I thought about this over the weekend.
Okay.
Well, no, because it stemmed from some movie that I saw. So let's say there's a case of infidelity, okay? And it was a one-time thing that your spouse had years ago. Mm-hmm. Would you want to know?
Yeah.
Oh, really? No. I would never, ever, ever, never, ever want to know.
Oh man!
And like sometimes when like therapists are like, you need to come clean, you need to tell them. I'm like, whoa, no, like because if that person doesn't have knowledge, and maybe I'm totally wrong on this, maybe even scripturally, but if that person doesn't have knowledge of it, then to bring it up and make it an issue, if it's not truly an issue, if it's serial and it's continuing, absolutely. But if they don't know, you have totally wrecked that relationship for ever, basically. And I'm not saying it's right to get away with it. I'm not even saying that. I'm just talking about the actual idea of knowledge, what we were just talking about. Gavin.
Yeah, if I'm basing it purely on knowledge, then I think I wouldn't want to know. And I'm going to say, like, if this situation is based on the fact that they still let's say my wife
still treats you great,
still treats me great, still shows the same amount of love to me
everything's
that
the same.
she would if she had never cheated on me. If everything was the same, then I just probably wouldn't want to know, because that's just years of heartache and hours of pain that I guess I would be okay with just not experiencing.
Absolutely. But Betty Rock wants to know.
What would be the difference between knowing that your wife cheated on you and you always coming into a room and assuming everyone has cheated on you? Because you just said earlier.
Right.
You just said earlier you always go into a...
But not with her, because that's the person that is like the closest to me and that like I trust implicitly. And so like if I trust her implicitly and then I found out that trust was errant, then I would be like, well, what else have I been wrong about all these years?
Would you want this no, everyone's lying to you power, let's say, but you could just negate your wife from the entire situation?
That's a good point.
So just have your wife be exempt from that whole situation.
But then you would know the whole time that's that one person you can't tell if she's telling the truth or not. But then would that make you more unhealthy?
Yeah. Like, for example, like my wife just texted me, actually. Wow, this is weird. She's headed to Florida to see my daughter. Love you, boy. She calls you boy. I'm in Jonesboro, south of Atlanta now. Rained the whole way here. And so with her, like I go, yeah, she's in Jonesboro, south of Atlanta. because we have that relationship and that trust. Had she ever at one point in time went, oh yeah, I cheated on you, then I would get a text like that today out of nowhere, random. I'd be like, let me find my iPhone real quick. You've destroyed that trust in that relationship. I don't know how people get that back. I really, really don't.
It takes a lot of work and a lot of therapy, I would think.
Yeah. And I don't think you ever fully get it back though. Like I know people go, we went through this and it was bad, but boy, we're stronger than ever. I truly don't believe anyone that says they have totally forgotten about it, moved on.
Do you think it would be easier for them to move on if that other person that hadn't cheated was allowed to cheat once?
Yeah, I've had that thought too, like even up the score.
Would it make it easier for both of y'all to be like, okay?
Yeah, no, two wrongs don't make a right. And that's that. There are like movies about this kind of stuff and it always goes wrong. And I think that's very, very accurate. Oh, it just gets so muddy. Anyway, there was a little
dramatic
moral dilemma there today. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for our Aftercast, and we'll get Betty out of here. And as always, thanks for being a potty.